last two books are kind of old, so strap in. Alright. As Schmeckis had predicted, the theft of the Staff of Chaos had few short-term consequences. The current Emperor, Uriel Septon, sent some rather stiff messages expressing shock and displeasure at the staff's disappearance, and urging that Schmeckis make every effort to locate its whereabouts and communicate this to the newly appointed Imperial Battle Mage, Daggerfall, in whose hands the matter had been placed. Than! Schmeckis snarled in disgust and frustration, as he paced about the small chamber where Barenziah, now 7 months pregnant, was sitting serenely, knitting a baby blanket. Daggerfall, indeed! I wouldn't give him directions for crossing the street! So this is interesting. So the Staff of Chaos, that stupid asshole, was it a Khajiit? I forgot what it was. It was a Khajiit, wasn't it? Whatever, the asshole from last book who stole the Staff of Chaos when he was saying that he was getting after a horde of summoning or something. That's the Staff of Chaos from Arena, the one that Daggerfall, who's named in this book, used to, like, usurp the Emperor and pretend to be him? Shit. So this is like a direct, I guess, a prequel, if you will, to Arena. Yeah, cool. Let's go. What have you against this person, husband? I just don't trust that mongrel elf. Wait, Daggerfall's an elf? Wait. Part wood elf, part dark elf, and part only the gods know what. Daggerfall is half wood elf and half dark elf? I never would have guessed that. I just assumed he was of Imperial descent, or is it actually a thing? You know, we don't know. You can't actually be from those books. I think it was Morrowind where you could be Imperial. Oh. Well, Brain, I guess. Whatever. But the worst... No, wait. That's it. All the worst qualities of his combined races. No one knows much about him. Claims he was born in Valorwood of a wood elf mother. Seems to have been everywhere since. Barenziah sunk in the contentment of pregnancy. Had only been humouring Schmeckis thus far, but this piqued her interest. Nightingale. Could he have been this Daggerfall in disguise? Nay. Human blood seems to be the one missing component in Tharn's ancestry. To Schmeckis, Barenziah knew that was a flaw. Schmeckis despised wood elves as lazy thieves, and high elves as intellectuals, but he admired humans, especially Bretons, for their combination of pragmatism, intelligence, and energy. Nightingales of Ebonheart, of the House of Moor, I'll be bound. That house has had human blood since her time. Ebonheart was jealous that the staff was laid there when Tiber Septim took the horn from us. Barenziah sighed a little. The rivalry between Ebonheart and Mournhold reached back almost to the dawn of history. Once the two had been one, all the minds within held by Clan Rathian, whose royal house held the high kingship of Morrowind. Ebonheart had split into two separate city-states, Ebonheart and Mournhold. Leanne's twin sons, Monian's grandsons, had been left as the heirs. At the same time, office of High King had been vacated in... I think I was thinking about this like 2 books ago. What's the name of the, like, a leader in a province in Skyrim? damn it, what is it called? I need to know now. Fuck, I'm gonna look it up. Okay, I was in the middle of looking up when I finally remembered. It's Jarl. Yes, Jarl. Jarl Threatening. Yes. Thane is like the right-hand man of the... not right-hand man, but like... I don't know, some kind of high position. No, moving on with the story. Right, where were we? At the same time, the office of the High King had been vacated in favor of a temporary war leader to be named by a council in times of provincial emergency. Still, Evanheim remained jealous of her prerogatives, and as the eldest city-state of Morwen. Still, first among equals, and claimed that guardianship of the Horn should rightfully be entrusted to the elder. Mornhold responded that Merlion himself had placed the Horn in the keeping of God Ethan, and Mornhold was unarguably the god's birthplace. Why not tell Jagathon of your suspicions then? Let him recover the thing. As long as it's safe, what does it matter where it lies? Schmacker stared at her without comprehension. It matters! It's no. He said softly. Not that much. He added. Certainly not enough for you to concern yourself further over it. You just tend to your knitting. In a few more months, Barenziah produced a fine son, whom they named Helseth. Nothing more was heard of the staff or Nightingale. If Evanheim held it, certainly they did not boast of it. The years passed swiftly and happily. Helseth grew tall and strong. He was much like his father, whom he worshipped. When Helseth was 8 years old, Barenziah bore a second child, a daughter, to Schmack's great delight. Helseth was his pride, yet little... Oh! Morgia held his heart. Yeah. That's the chick. Yeah, that's the chick. Wait, they're in Sentinel right now, right? So we'll actually be able to go and talk to them. Hopefully this video will go up before we actually get back to the game. I'm not sure. Like I'm recording them all, and I'm like trying to work it out in my head because I haven't actually physically made the journey in game, so I don't know how many days it's gonna take. Anyway, shortly after, how do you say her name? Morgia. I feel like I'm saying her name wrong. I want to say Morgia. It's shortly after Morgia's birth, word came that a plot against the Emperor had been unmasked, and that the chief conspirators, Jagathon and Rhea Shilmaid, were dead. Why was Rhea Shilmaid the co-conspirator? Smackish rejoiced at this news. I told you so, he crowed. Yet thereafter, relations with the Empire slowly deteriorated. Wait, are we just glossing over the events of Arena? Yeah, I guess Jagathon killed Rhea Silmi, put the Emperor into oblivion, and took over as Emperor. Then Leo comes in. Leo the Khajiit comes in. Which, didn't that take 3 years to do? Yeah. 3 years of gameplay later, I killed Jagathon and all's right with the world. You just got one sentence for that shit? Jeez. Okay, so, yeah, relations with the Empire slowly deteriorated, but no apparent reason. Taxes were raised and quotas increased with each passing year. Schmackers felt that the Emperor suspected him of having a hand in the plot and sought to prove his loyalty by making every effort to comply with the increasing demands. He lengthened working hours and raised taxes, and even made up some of the difference. For both crown friends and their own private holdings. Now, what does that mean? Took some money from the taxes into his own pockets. Hang on. He lengthened working hours, raised taxes, and even made up some of the difference. Wait, who is he? Is he Schmackers or is he the Emperor? Yet still the demands increased and commoners and nobles alike grew restless. No, okay, in that sentence, he is Schmackers. Right, so Schmackers increased working hours and raised taxes in his area, in that Warnhold, and also tried to give money to the king by taking it out of his own coffers. Okay, makes sense. I want you to take the children and journey yourself to the imperial city, Schmackers at last said in desperation. You must make the emperor listen, else all Warnhold will be in revolt come spring. You have a way with men. You always did, he forced a smile. Barenziah forced a smile of her own. Even you. Yes, even me, he said to her. I thought Schmackers hated the shit out of Barenziah. And from the beginning of the first book, it was like set up that Schmackers was trying to revenge against Barenziah. You have to go back and read the first book. Yeah. Anyway, both children? Barenziah looked over toward the corner window where Helseth was strumming a lute and singing a duet with his little sister. Helseth was 15, or Gaia just 8. Perhaps they'll soften his heart. Besides, it's time that Helseth was presented at the Imperial Court. So I'm gonna go out on a limb and say Helseth's gonna die, and Morgana's gonna be sold off to Sentinel for some reason. Not Morgana, but Barenziah. That's right, Barenziah marries some other asshole. I mean, that's the current situation, so it's not like it's spoilers, really. Perhaps, but that's not your true reason. You do not think you can keep them safe here. If that's the case, then you're not safe here either. Come with us, Barenziah urged. He took her hands in his. Barenziah, love, heart of my heart, if I leave now, there'll be nothing for us to return to. It'll be alright. I can take care of myself, and I can do it better if I need not fear about it for you and the children. Wait, maybe this is his ploy. Maybe he's trying to get her out so he can take over everything. Maybe. Barenziah laid her head against his chest. Just remember that we need you. Then why wouldn't he want to keep his heir? Doesn't make sense, does it? Anyway. Just remember that we need you. We can do without the rest if we have each other. Empty hands and empty bellies are easier to bear than an empty heart. My foolishness has brought us to this pass. If so, 'tis not that so a place. What? If so, 'tis not that so a place to be. His eyes rested fondly on their carefree children. And none of us shall go without. I cost you everything once, Barenziah. I in time a septum. Without my aid, the Septim dynasty would never have begun. I helped it rise. I helped its rise. Sorry. I can bring about its fall. You may tell your Septim that, and that my patience is bounded. Barenziah gasped. Schmackers was not given to empty threats. She no more imagined that he would ever turn against the Empire than that the old house wolf lying by the hearth would turn on her. How? She demanded, but he shook her head. Better that you know not. said. Just tell him that. If he prove... what the fuck is that word? Oh, I gotta look that up. I gotta look that word up. Yeah, no, right. Okay, so I looked it up, and I got the pronunciation, which I'll play over the mic. Hopefully you can hear it. Recalcitrant. Having an ostensibly uncooperative attitude towards authority or discipline. Recalcitrant. Man, you learn some fucking new words here, don't you? If he prove recalcitrant, wait, just tell him that. If he prove recalcitrant, but do not fear. He is subtle enough that he will not kill the messengers. The late winter journey to the Imperial City was an easy one. One of the things the Septon Empire had accomplished was the building and maintenance of good highways throughout Tamriel. Now this is like a halfway point in the story thing. So I'm gonna pause for a while, take a little break. Shit, too much reading. I'll be back in a moment. Alright, I'm back. We didn't really take much of a break, but it'll work. We always take future breaks. Barenziah stood before the Emperor's throne, explaining Mournhold's straits. She waited weeks for an audience with Uriel Septim, fobbed off on pretext or another. His Excellency is indisposed. An urgent matter demands his attention. I am sorry, Your Highness. There must be some mistake. Your appointment is for next week. See? And now it was not going well. He did not even seem to be listening to her. He hadn't invited her to sit, nor had he dismissed the children. Elsif stood still as a carved statue, but little Morgia had begun to fidget. He had first greeted... So is this the real Emperor, or is this Daggerfall? Maybe. He had first greeted the three of them with a too bright smile of welcome that did not reach his eyes. Then, as she presented her children, he had gazed at them with a fixed attention that was real yet inappropriate. Barenziah had been dealing with humans for nearly 500 years now, and had developed skill. Wait, 500 years? What year is... Oh god, I gotta pause. We gotta figure out what year, because the beginning of this game, or the beginning of the story, not the beginning, but like when she was still young, she, that's when Time of Septim created the current era, which is the third era. So, I'm gonna find it. Wait, was there something else I need to look up here? Okay, well, I'm back. So, wow, that was a surprise. So, Arena is actually set sometime between 3rd era 389 and 399. She said 500 years. She was born before Time was at the time. Doesn't really tell us. It does alleviate my suspicion, which was I thought we were actually like 900 something. Daggerfall starts in 405. But the fact of the matter is they're both very close to each other. Both games. Let's hope I can get back to my story without it. Okay, where were we? Dealing with humans for nearly 500 years now, and had developed skill at reading their expressions and movement that was far beyond that of any human had ever learned. Try as the Emperor might to conceal it, there was a hunger in his eyes. Something more. Regret? Why? He had several 5 children of his own. Why covet hers? Why look at her with intense, though brief yearning? Ah, well, perhaps he was tired of his lady. Humans were fickle-minded, but after that one long burning glance, his gaze had shifted away as he began to speak of her mission, and he sat still as stone. she'd known. She hadn't known Uriel Septim well, having met him only once, when he was still a child, and then at his coronation 20 years before. He'd been stern and dignified then, yet not icily remote as this man was. So maybe this is Daggerfall. I think this is Daggerfall. So maybe the rumor about Daggerfall being killed was actually a propaganda made by Daggerfall when he took over to cover his tracks. That makes sense. Despite the physical resemblance, he didn't seem to be the same man at all. Not the same, but something about him was familiar to her. More familiar than it should be. Some trick of posture or gesture. Suddenly she felt very warm, as if lava had been poured over her. Illusion! She had studied well the arts of illusion since Nightingale had fooled her so boldly. She had learned to detect it, and she felt it now. As certainly as a blind man could feel the sun in his face. So it is Daggerfall. Illusion, but why? Her mind worked furiously, even as her mouth went on reciting details about the Mournhold economy. Humans were often ashamed of the signs of age, as elves were proud of them. Yet the face Uriel Septim wore seemed consistent with his age. Barenziah dared use none of her magic arts. Even petty nobles had means of detecting, if not shielding themselves from these in their halls. The use of magic here would bring down his wrath as surely as drawing a knife would. Magic? Illusion? Suddenly she thought of Nightingale. Briefly, he sat before her, only saddened, trapped. And then that vision faded, and another man sat there, like Nightingale and yet unlike, pale skin, red eyes, velvet ears, and about him a fierce glow of concentration, an aura of energy, a shrinking horror. This man was capable of anything. Then, once again, she beheld the face of Uriel Septim. How could she be sure she wasn't imagining things? Perhaps her mind was playing tricks on her. She felt a sudden vast weariness, as if she'd been carrying a heavy burden too long and too far. You know what I just realized? This kind of storyline reminds me of, some of those spoilers, the movie's been out for a while, but the second Thor movie, the Dark World one. Yeah, without spoiling it, just the ending, you know? What happens at the end with, Loki? Very similar. Anyway. Do you remember, Excellency? Schmackes and I had dinner with your family shortly after your father's coronation. We were no older than little Mugaya here. We were greatly honored to be the only guest that evening, except for your best friend Justin, of course. Ah, yes, the Emperor said. I believe I do recall that. Is Justin just some shitty name that she made? Is she doing a Terminator 2? Why is Wolfie barking? You and Justin were such friends. I was told he died not long after. A great pity. Indeed, I still do not like to speak of him. His eyes were weary. As for your request, my lady, we shall take it under advisement and let you know. Barenziah bowed, as did her children. A nod dismissed them, and they backed away from the presence. Barenziah took a deep breath. Justin had been an imaginary friend, though Uriel had insisted that a place be set for Justin at every meal. Wait. Justin is a real thing. It was an imaginary friend. And the king had actually set a place for him, like in real, for reals. Not only that, Justin had been a girl, despite the boy's name. Oh, Schmackes had kept up the family joke long after Justin had gone, wherever such childhood friends go, requiring seriously, after just its well-being, whenever he and Uriel met, and being responded to as seriously. Ah, here it is. Here's the bit where the fucking loop is that I need. The one time I need it, and I don't have it. Oh, here it is. Okay. Responded to as seriously. The last Barenziah heard, Justin, after an adventurous youth had married a high elf and settled in Landrel. The man occupying the Emperor's chair was not Uriel Septim. Nightingale! A chord of recognition rang through her, and Barenziah knew that she was right. It was he indeed. Schmackes had been wrong. So wrong. What now, she wondered. What had become of Uriel Septim? And, what did it mean for her and Schmackes and Mornwall? Thinking back, Barenziah guessed that their troubles were due to this false emperor, Nightingale, or whoever he really was. He must have taken Uriel Septim's place shortly before the unreasonable demands on Mornhold had begun. That would explain why relations had deteriorated so long, as humans judge time. After her offense, Nightingale knew of Schmackes' famed loyalty to and knowledge of the Septims and was making a preemptive strike. If that were indeed the case, then they were all in terrible danger. She and the children, under his hand, here in the Imperial City, and Schmackes, left alone to face the troubles of Nightingale's brewing. What must she do? Barenziah urged, the children ahead of her, a hand on each shoulder, the woman servant and guards trailing behind. They had reached their waiting carriage. Even though their apartment was only a few blocks from the palace, royal dignity forbade them walking. And for once, Barenziah was glad of it. Even the carriage seemed a kind of sanctuary now, false as she knew the feeling to be. A boy dashed up to one of the guards and handed him a letter, then pointed towards the carriage. The guard brought it to her. The boy waited, eyes wide. The letter was brief and complimentary, and simply asked if King Edward of Wayrace, High Rock, might be granted an audience with him, as he had heard much of her, and would be pleased to make her acquaintance. Wait a minute, is Barenziah living in Sentinel or Wayrace? Well, she's living in Wayrace. Yeah. No, she's living in Wayrace. I'm an idiot. That's fine. Barenziah's first impulse was to refuse. She wanted only to leave the city. Certainly, she had no inclination for any dalliances with a dazzled human. She looked up, frowning, and one of the guards said, "The boy says his master awaits your reply yonder." She looked in the direction indicated, and saw a handsome elderly man on horseback, surrounded by a half-dozen courtiers and guards. He caught her eye and bowed respectfully, removing his plucked hat. "Very well," Barenziah said to the boy on impulse. "Tell your master he may call on me tonight, after the dinner hour." The man looked polite and grave, and rather worried, but not in the least love-struck. Well, that is the real Barenziah part 9. Now, I just want to just quickly. I would like to read the first one. I was really certain. It's like this book starts 500 years ago. Oh, okay. Interesting. So the book's like written now, I guess, yeah. The book's written in present time. So yeah, we also get the story since we're like present day. Well, we're not wearing a reading time, whatever. So I need to find Schmackes visiting Queen Agnar government. Schmackes. Schmackes is 13 years old. Yes, I know. Barenziah was born basically swore that I'm gonna have that girl, I'm gonna have her, and then her grandchildren, my mother's grandchildren, are gonna be the ones who will mourn her. That was his whole plan. That's just not being ridiculous. Well, that's it for today. So tune in next time, whether that be tomorrow or sometime in the future, for the final book 10. Might as well open even though we're not actually reading right now. I can finally get rid of all these books. The whole series here. Alright, yep. Tune in for the Real Barenziah Part 10. The final stunning conclusion to the Real Barenziah story. Next time. But for now, my name is Leo, and I will